stunning. Wow, with the tie and everything, Jason. Very nice. Very nice. Listen, a couple of things have happened this offseason news-wise that really stuns you. You're shocked. You have to look at both sides. And I would say added to the list was the DJ Moore trade from Chicago to Buffalo. Joe Brady coached DJ Moore back in Carolina, and now they are back together in Buffalo. Brady spoke this week about the type of player DJ Moore is and how Moore will help out Josh Allen.
I had an opportunity to coach DJ in Carolina, and I know the person, the player, the skill set. I know how we had a really good offense last year. Adding DJ Moore to it, should only make Josh's life a lot easier, make Khalil Shakir's life a lot easier, and he's dynamic, and he made our team. He's going to make our team a lot better.
All right, Joe, we get the connection. We understand what Josh Allen needs. And at this point, because of all of the heartbreak the Bills have gone through in the postseason, we all as fans have clearly identified, like, pass catchers. Josh Allen needs to be able to move the ball down the field, and not just with his feet and not just with some of his Superman moves. So the Bills have been great in the regular season, but they have struggled to make a name for themselves in the playoffs. So DJ Moore, Isaiah, is he exactly what the Bills need to finally reach that Super Bowl? That's not pressure whatsoever.
No, not at all. Listen, DJ Moore is one heck of a ball player. We all know that. One of the most consistent, undervalued players, I would say, around the league. He can do absolutely everything. He wins at the line of scrimmage. He's physical. He blocks. He makes the contested catches. He can run past you. He checks all the boxes. That's not the first time that Josh Allen has had that. He's had Stephon Diggs in the past. He's had some other guys, obviously B. Cooks, they brought him in late. They've tried. They brought Amari Cooper, they tried. They drafted Keon Coleman in the first round. They tried. DJ Moore is going to be productive, but is he going to be the missing piece that's going to push them over the edge? No, because they've had productivity not only from that position, but others like Cook, James Cook, and things of that nature. So this team is a team that last year was at the bottom of the league in terms of rush defense. It's not just an offensive game. It's not just a Josh Allen thing. This is the ultimate team game. So will he help them be more productive offensively? Absolutely. Is he the missing piece that pushes them completely over the edge?
I can't tell what's worse. What you're saying is that fact that they haven't made it to a Super Bowl, or is that they got a participation trophy for trying all these different things. That feels very patronizing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with what Isaiah said. I mean, they've had good wide receivers. When Stephon Diggs came, we thought that was the answer. I think right now, offensively, the answer for them to be more productive is for Keon Coleman to develop into the receiver that we all thought he was going to be as a first-round pick. Now, they've gotten a little bit better on defense. They went and got Bradley Chubb. They went and got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think is a good player. He's playing a lot of one-year contracts, maybe has a fit into a lot of teams in terms of locker rooms, but he's a good player, But the reality is, Keon Coleman is the guy who we need to step up to really fulfill his role for me to be able to say that this is a team who's taking the next step, because it's a lateral move for me getting DJ Moore. Even though he's productive, it's the same thing like when Stephon Diggs got here. There's no difference to me.
Well, when I look at this, and I agree with what you guys are saying about the defense, I agree with what you're saying about they've had weapons in the past, but I think in order for DJ Moore to be that guy that finally takes him over the hump, it's going to help the most important guy in this equation, and that's Joe Brady, because I think Joe Brady's biggest project is making sure that Josh Allen can trust his receivers and trust the guys around him. When I look back at the playoff game, the divisional game, the loss against the Broncos, right, and you see Josh had 4 bad turnovers, and it's more like he's just trying to force it, and it feels like he's not trusting his wide receivers or trusting his weapons. Let me go through the history about their playoff. 2019 wild card versus the Texans. They had a 16-point lead midway through the third quarter. They end up losing that game in overtime to the Texans. 2021 divisional versus the Chiefs. They call it the 13 seconds game. The Bills, 6 plays, 75 yards for the TD, leading 36-33. The very next drive, the Chiefs go 3 plays for 44 yards and 13 seconds, kick the field goal, tie the game. They lose the coin toss. The rest is history. Divisional round versus the Chiefs in 2023. The wide right play, Tyler Bass, wide right. And then 2024, that 4th down drop pass by Dalton Kincaid. So if you are Josh Allen, you're looking at it like, hey, I'm trusting in these guys to make big-time plays, whether it's my defense, whether it's my kicker, whether it's my receivers, my tight ends. And they've let me down in certain situations. And it's almost like when Kobe got into the NBA and when he first got there. He wasn't willing to pass to his teammates because that trust factor wasn't there. Then Shaq gets into that equation. Can DJ Moore be that Shaq? More importantly, can Joe Brady be the Phil Jackson? Because it wasn't until Phil Jackson got there that he put that dynasty together, and they went three championships in a row. So I like what they're doing over there. It's going to fall on Joe Brady's shoulders, though.
I agree with what you said, but I also do think that you can't really ask DJ Moore to be Shaq in this offense, because I think a lot of the targets that we've seen DJ Moore get, he's such an all-around wide receiver. In this offense, I think he has to be more of a traditional wide receiver, because Khalil Shakir does a lot of the stuff that DJ Moore has thrived on when it comes to screen game, when it comes to gadget plays. A lot of those targets are going to Shakir. I don't think they're going to go to DJ Moore. And now I don't think they can fully utilize his skill set in this offense the way I think a lot of people think it's going to play out.
Well, I think that you're right about Khalil Shakir. He's a slot wide receiver, but I also think that the Bills signed Curtis Samuel a few years ago in hopes that he would do what they're going to do with DJ Moore. You know what I mean? Like Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, they're both in Carolina together. They know what Joe Brady wants to do, and more importantly, Joe Brady knows what he wants to do with them. And things with Curtis Samuel, for whatever reason, hasn't really panned out for him. I think with DJ Moore coming in there, that was like the number one. That was the preferred pick, right? If you want to do this thing with somebody, Joe Brady wants to do it with the guy that he actually did it with, and bringing in DJ Moore helps them to do that.
What I'm hearing is just a bunch of different pairings that really have high demand to work out, whether it be Josh Allen and DJ Moore. And frankly, I like what you said, Kabinda, which is DJ Moore and Keon Coleman kind of need to be the duo that works out. We love a good wide receiver pairing, and frankly, we just like duos around the league. So here comes the next question. If you like the DJ Moore-Josh Allen duo, let's play this game. It doesn't matter what it is, what pair, quarterback, receiver, player, coach, two coaches, what have you. Field is wide open, but they have to be newly paired together. Manti, around the league, do you have a favorite new duo that you're seeing?
Well, I'm going to go head coach and offensive coordinator duo. Oh. I like what they got going over there in Tennessee Titans with Robert Saleh and Coach Brian Daboll. I think that when you see Robert Saleh going to his second tenure as a head coach, I think it's going to resemble a lot of what we saw over there in New England with Mike Vrabel and his second chance at a head coach. He's learned a lot in New York. He got his swagger back in San Francisco. I think round two will be different. Now you pair him up with Brian Daboll. I think there are coaches that are really good head coaches, but they're elite coordinators. I go to Vic Fangio, Steve Spagnuolo, maybe even Mike McDaniel, who's coming now back to the Chargers and being offensive coordinator there, right? There are certain coaches that are really good at being coordinators, and I think that Brian Daboll, don't forget, we just talked about the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, what he was able to do with the young Josh Allen and really bring him into that career, knowing what the AFC East is going to look like in that gauntlet, I think I like that duo the best, Kabinda.
Okay, Manti, that's a good duo. I'm going to have to go with my team, the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
We did birth a new nickname for these two on this show, Fast and Furious, Gibby and Pacheco.
Oh, okay.
I love what Isaiah Pacheco brings for this team in terms of the energy, the intensity, the running style. I love it. I really love it. This guy runs furious. And then you got Gibby, who I think Dan Campbell's going to unlock even more this year. I see Gibby being even more of a receiver, being split out with Pacheco in the backfield and things of that nature. I thought last year was the year where they're kind of seeing, all right, how much lemon juice can we get out of this lemon? We squeeze it the hardest. I think they still think they're scratching the surface with this guy. Super dynamic, super fast. I mean, nobody can catch this guy. It doesn't matter what kind of angle you take. I'm excited for this duo.
Kabinda, hold on. You call him Gibby?
When did we Gibby him?
I've heard different nicknames where I never heard Gibby.
Yeah, we call him Gibby too. Yeah, we do. Dawes also
Are we qualified to call him
Gibbs, Gibby?
I'm
yeah,
definitely not touching that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But you know what? I think that you guys' picks are nice. They're nice. I think they're, predictable. You got the OC, you know what I'm saying, the coach. You got the offensive guys. Listen here. I'm going to go with Byron Young and Trent McDuffie.
Oh.
Now, for those at home, listen, how about you stay with me here? You got a defensive end that's an absolute dog, knows how to get after the quarterback, 12 sacks, goes after, gets after him. But what is a great defensive end? How does he benefit a corner? Trent McDuffie. If you have a defensive end that can get to the quarterback, that means the quarterback has less time to throw the ball, which means he's going to throw more balls that are probably errant throws, which means Trent McDuffie's the benefactor, right?
Yeah.
All right, but let's go on the flip side. Let's flip it over. Trent McDuffie has the ability to get up there at lockdown corner, get up there at the line of scrimmage, put hands on them, bless them, as I like to say, at the line of scrimmage. If the receiver can't get down the field, the timing's messed up, who's the benefactor of that?
Okay.
The defensive end.
Yeah.
Right, so I love this pairing that the Rams have. Obviously, they've added other pieces to the puzzle as well, but I think that these two, the D-end and the cornerback, are going to love playing with each other, and they're both going to benefit in the stat sheet.
That was you just dubbed them with the participation trophy, and then you did. You were like, that's nice, but I have the best thing. Somebody mentioned it, and I would love to go around once again on this because it does qualify for my new favorite duo, and it's the other one here in LA. It's the other coach-coach duo that happened here in LA. The Harbaugh-McDaniel thing totally fascinates me. And it reminds me, I've said this story before, and I'll say it once again, ran into Coach Harbaugh before the Super Bowl at just like a hangout, a tailgate, and I said, you know, people are really obsessed with Mike McDaniel being on your staff now. He goes, well, I'm obsessed with him. That's, okay? I'm like, that's exactly how this is panned out. So the fact that it is, well, I'm obsessed with him. Yes, I am. It seems to be going well, Kabindo, when you know what Mike McDaniel can do, what Harbaugh has in his skill set, and also what Justin Herbert brings to the table. What about this combo?
I mean, I think that's a perfect pairing because when you look at Mike McDaniel, you look at what happened with Miami, you know, I thought there was a culture issue. I thought the team was soft and things of that nature. Well, Jim Harbaugh is the absolute opposite of that. This is like a yin and yang type of deal, the way I look at it. And I think what the other doesn't have is what completes the two. And that's why I love this pairing so much. You got a super capable quarterback in Justin Herbert. You got talent on that team. I think this could be a really, really good pairing.
Well, I'll tell you something that I think a lot of people aren't really discussing as far as this pairing and why I think it works out so well. If you think about Justin Herbert and last year in 2025, that guy was getting hit. Right? He was getting hit at an alarming rate. And so when you think about Mike McDaniel and you think about that timing, you think about how fast Tua is getting the ball out of his hands, I think that also fits. But when Jim Harbaugh looked at an offensive coordinator, he also looked at his roster and he said, okay, cool. It might take me some time to build an offensive line. I don't know if I'm going to sign certain guys in free agency. I don't know if I'm going to have access to guys in the draft. However, if I bring over the right offensive coordinator to make sure that the ball is getting out of Justin Herbert's hand fast enough, I think it buys me more time to get the guys in front of him that I need to. So I think it's such a great pairing. Why? Because you know that Mike McDaniel is going to curate some plays and it's going to be explosive. But more importantly, the type of plays, I think it really fits well with what Jim Harbaugh is trying to build there and how explosive of an offense it is. And it was for him with Tua, because not too long ago, two of them were doing the train, right, as they're going around celebrating, doing behind-the-back passes, celebrating touchdowns. I'm excited to see what that could look like and so far.
When it comes to relationships, oftentimes opposites attract.
I love how you
right? You know what I'm saying? Opposites attract oftentimes. But then sometimes when you know somebody got a little crazy to them, what else do they need on the other side? Need somebody who can be crazy.
Match their crazy.
Match their crazy, right? Crazy loves crazy. So you got two crazies, right? You got Jim Harbaugh, and obviously you got Mike McDaniel. These guys both have their version of crazy, but one is a culture setter. The other one has the creativity. When you put those two together, I think that Mike McDaniel is going to have the freedom to be crazy as he wants to be. And when you start talking about the offensive line, these guys have secured their offensive line. They obviously invested in Slater and those guys on the other side. He has to stay healthy, but they added Tyler Biadasz. Their offensive line is going to be solid. The running game is solid. The receiving game and the tight end is solid. Quarterback, we know what he can do. You need somebody who can call the plays and put these guys in position. So let these two crazies get together and let's see exactly what they can mix up.
You ever heard that phrase, like the crazy hot spectrum, like dating girls, like crazy hot spectrum? This is like the culture and the creativity spectrum. And Justin Herbert's like, where are we going to ping on this? How good are the Chargers going to be? We're going to find out.